Hello, Music Multiverse listeners. Welcome to Beyond Your Radio. Welcome back to Panelists' favorite shows. Tonight, we pay tribute to our favorite frontmen of all time. Don't worry, women, ladies, 2 weeks. All right, we'll get there. Why are the men first? I don't know. These are those that go beyond the vocal, becoming a performer, a demigod, an advisor most high, and some of them really high, I guarantee it. Definition in the world for front man or front woman or front cat or any
person.
Yes. The lead singer of a pop or rock group. Crappy definition. Absolutely terrible definition by all conceptual design. Let me give you a definition. That's right. The figurehead at the lead of a group of musicians taking center stage. And it can be live. It can be in the interview. It can be the way they present. It can be even how they do it in the studio. They make it to the album. The way they entertain. They dissolve the watcher, the listener into their fold, marching them like zombies or certifiably insane and transfixed beings to one glorious moment after moment, and then perhaps repeating said moment over a long period of time, or perchance, well, they blew their brains out and they didn't make it through the entire landscape of time that encapsulates the infinitesimal music multiverse. Yeah, take that definition, all right? Remember, these are not the greatest of all time. They may be, but they're our personal favorites. So don't be offended, if Frank Sinatra's not on the list. They may not coincide with those noted, again, as the greatest frontmen of all time. On the panel tonight, what she had in mind is breakfast and bread for $400,000. Damn, Deb Armitage Hicks Maloney.
I know.
She'll be on this show for however long it takes. Susie Q.
Hello.
Oh, we know who she picked.
He always knew he was a star, and now the rest of the world must agree with him. Jeff Young.
Hi.
He's probably seen these people center stage from the side of the stage on more than one occasion. Mr. Jeff Crichton. If it's a front man you want, it's a front man you'll get. Ray Geska. Even got the background for it. And if there's anyone more grateful to be center stage, it's the Grateful Dude.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
And he's not trying to be sexy. It's just the way of expressing himself when he moves around his house. Alex Kaluzny. That was a reference.
Nothing after that one.
That was a reference to Elvis Presley, in case you didn't know.
I actually liked it better not knowing that was
all righty. Well, how is everyone?
Awesome.
Okay. Pumped up for the show.
Awesome.
Every panelist is here tonight. It's almost Christmas, I guess. All right.
Christmas in May.
Yeah, we'll get it started. We'll kick it off with the ladies. Let's do two at a time. You do your first two, do 5 and 4, then do 3 and 2, and then you get to do your number 1. All right.
Nice.
All right.
Okay, there's a joke there. I won't let it go.
Oh,
Okay.
Well,
Let it go, Jeff.
let it
Yeah,
go.
let it go.
We don't have time for that.
Talk later. Okay, which lady?
Damn,
Oh, I'm first.
you will be first.
All right. So I changed my list around a lot because I wasn't sure until you finally said favorite, not the greatest based on, what the world perspective would be. But so I don't expect mine to be where everybody else's are. And it's not all Led Zeppelin people like you all think, but my number 5 would be Axl Rose. I think that band, even though Slash is a great guitarist and he is a musician that has proven himself beyond what Guns N' Roses are, I don't think that Slash would have become as prevalent as a household name as he is as a guitarist without Axl Rose. I can just envision the first time that I saw Welcome to the Jungle on MTV, and I went, this guy moves around this stage. He has a certain look. he has a presence about him that is screaming stardom. Now, not to say that he didn't squander that, because he did. And we probably lost a lot of really great things to come because of lifestyle and everything else. But I still watch those videos. I still hear those songs. And I don't picture the rest of the band so much. I picture him. And to me, that means he's a good frontman. So Axl Rose is number 5.
Good pick.
Now, the rest of my picks, I didn't see Guns N' Roses in concert, but the rest of my bands I have. And I was quite surprised that I picked this guy, because I didn't see this guy until last summer, maybe the summer before.
Oh,
And I saw him twice within 6 weeks. And it's Dave Matthews. And I'm so surprised at my pick. But the reason I'm saying this is maybe me seeing 2 shows within a few weeks of each other in different venues. It was 2 completely different shows. It felt like 2 completely different bands, however, cohesive because of Dave. And it was, I always thought it was like a cult-like thing with him.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. So those are my 2, Axl and Dave, and I'm surprised with my own picks.
Okay.
nice job.
Without Axl Rose, he would, instead of Slash, he would have been Hyphen. That was my Jeff Young joke for the night.
Yeah,
That-
but it's just
don't put that
funnier
on
than
me.
That's Jeff B. Jeff.
hyphen
Don't qualify that.
backslash.
There you go.
Sue.
He's backslash.
All right. So I literally switched out my number 5 because I wasn't gonna name him, but then
Oh.
in your introduction, you foisted it on me. So I was gonna wait another decade. But anyway, I'm going with David Grohl. Foo Fighters. I don't know. I'm still like with David Grohl, but
Don't be.
the fact
Don't
of the
be.
matter, right? I know. Like
Don't
Anyway. the fact of the matter is he kind of made his way up from the back of the house to the front of the house, and he created I don't know, it was more than a band, the Foo Fighters. It really changed a lot in the music verse. And so I think he deserves to be there, selling out concerts, traveling the world. He's done a lot of good things too outside of music, but he's played with everybody, and he's an entertainer. He makes great videos too. So
Yes, he does.
so he does deserve it.
And he's cool.
And then I'm gonna go with Stevie Ray Vaughan, Double Trouble. I never get tired of listening to his voice or his guitar, and I wish he was still. There's just a few musicians I wish were still around, and he's
Yeah.
definitely one of them. He was so talented and unique, and that would have been amazing to see live.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my first 2.
I like your choices for sure.
Well, thank you. I was gonna pick David Matthews, but I'm glad you did, because
That was a last minute entry.
Mr.
you know.
Young, what do you have for your number 5 and number 4?
Well, a frontman doesn't have to be a singer, the vocalist. All mine are, and I actually helped myself narrow it down to just ones I've seen. So
Okay.
my first one is really a fun one, and it's portrayed by actor performer Christopher Guest, Nigel Tufnell of Spinal Tap. So if you haven't seen Spinal Tap 2 is coming out this year, and
I talk about it all the time. Let's go.
yeah. So he also was the 6-fingered man in Princess Bride, and he was I think he sang in Nightmare Before Christmas. Anyway, just based on the documentary, and Mark and I and Sue did see them live at the Great Canadian Party, and they were
Oh my God.
so they actually, it's funny, just it's fun watching a good actor who can actually perform as a band performer, poking fun at all our favorite frontmen. You know what I mean? So it just really suits the conversation.
Okay, I love this. That's great.
I did see that they actually tried to get back in 2011 the day 11/11/11 officially as Nigel Tufnell Day, but I don't think it worked out. But there's only 11/11 anyway, each once a year. But so anyway, that's the one I'm picking.
Nigel.
Not going to go on about the movie and everything. It's pretty legendary, but yeah, that's the one I'm picking there. Am I giving you guys two? I'm giving you two, right?
Yeah. 5 and 4.
So I'm going to pick one that I'm going to guess maybe Alex is picking this one too, but I'm going with Hugh Dillon from the Headstones.
But it's my honorable mention.
Because, the few times I've seen him, he's always very interactive with the crowd. He'll go into the crowd. He'll steal a beer from the crowd. And he's charismatic. He's really in control. But, if you had never seen him, first time you saw him, you might think, oh, he thinks he's the shit. He kind of is. But after the show, he'll walk around just like anybody else and just meet you and talk to you. And he seems pretty cool, at least to my experience. And, I also appreciate that he's an actor as well. But and on top of that, it helps when you have a great band. so
Yeah.
those are the ones I picked.
Good
That's
pick.
cool.
I like your picks. They're
That's
different.
fun.
They're unique. And if people do not know Hugh Dillon and the Headstones, that is a front man, no question.
Yep.
And,
For sure.
I was scared first time.
And he also played a frontman in a movie too.
Yeah.
Hardcore Logo.
Yeah.
And technically,
Joe Dick was his name in that movie.
and this is a good fun fact for Jeff Crichton that Mark knows about me. Family friends with someone who was an extra in Spinal Tap.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yep. Louis Merlino was my
And
dad's
what did
best
he do?
friend. Now he moved to Vegas and has been a singer out there for years, and his stuff with
fun.
Thieves. But he's an extra in Spinal Tap, and the reason it didn't make the movie was because they brought him in with no heads up of what the script was going to be or the song or anything, because they intentionally wanted him to suck in the scene, and he didn't suck.
You just suck. Okay.
So
That's a good story.
Is Rob
I love it.
Is Rob Reiner directing the sequel too?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't wait.
There's
I think we all need to meet up.
There's like a minute long teaser out, which is funny to watch.
It's very funny. You sent it to me. It's funny.
Oh, that's right. I did.
It's very funny.
Mr. Crichton, you are next.
Well, you know what? This is my list that I had and I wrote down. It's going away.
What?
Is that a list you saved from like 80 years ago?
Yeah. Yeah. So my number 5, what I was going to have for my number 5 is now changed.
Good.
Okay.
Oh boy.
And this is because of the favorite part.
Yeah, no, this is the favorite part.
Great.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, they're all favorite, but I never even thought of him until I was having dinner tonight. And moving into the number 5 spot is David Bowie.
Oh yeah. He's on my honorable mentions for sure.
And
Mm-hmm.
over 50 years, over a 50-year career, nobody changed as much as he did. He went from one thing till he got bored with it, and did another thing, and he went from new artist with spiky orange hair wearing dresses to Ziggy, to the thin white dude, to singing American R&B, going back to rock, having his own band in the 90s,
Industrial.
and I miss his music since he left us. And
Great pick.
so Bowie would be number 5 for me.
That was my number 7, and I was saving it in case someone took something else I was going to say.
It's great.
It took the Rock and Roll 500 this weekend for me to hear it, and then I went and I asked my mom. I said, "What era did you see Bowie?" And the fact that I even had to utter the phrase, "What era of Bowie did you see Bowie?"
Yeah.
instant like that. That was my light bulb moment right there.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
saw him in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. So,
Wow, that's amazing.
and he was great each time. My number four is somebody who I saw on the dreaded night that John Lennon got killed. A friend of mine and I were at Harvey and Corky's Stage 1 on Main
Oh.
Street, and we saw where there was 25 people there in a snowstorm, and we got to see this band that got introduced as V2, and I watched. Yeah, honest, they were introduced as V2. Here he is from Ireland, V2.
Oh, stop it. Wait, you
Honest.
did tell this story before. I think you
And
did the V2 story.
and that
Yeah.
night, I'd heard the Boy album, and I told people I really think that this is going to be the biggest band of the '80s, and people looked at me like I had two heads. But I got to work with the guys for a short little while. But seeing you two as often as I have, especially that very first night when they opened up for Tallis.
Awesome.
And
That's cool.
so my number four is Bono, who electrifies the crowd and who electrifies that band.
And I think you were there
Agreed.
with my father that night.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
That's so cool. I love it. True, true, true.
Because I've heard that story from his perspective.
I love it.
The Grateful Dude, what you got?
Okay, well, I just switched my my number 5 and made it number 6 because I don't want to copy anybody. But my number 5 is Freddie Mercury.
Yep.
I saw him 3 times during his career. He was the front man. He was what is truly known as a front man. The band was great behind him, but Queen was Freddie Mercury, period. My number 4 is Mick Jagger. Seen him twice. Thought the Rolling Stones were nuts. I saw Mick Jagger do it by himself in Vegas. I think it was '89 or so, and he was pretty awesome. But behind the Stones, he was the best. He really was.
I try to imitate him every time I make a golf swing.
How does that work for you?
He's like,
Oh, look at that. I got a record.
Oh,
Hey.
Good
Oh.
job. I love it.
psychedelic.
All right. Well, that brings us to Ray.
Oh boy.
There he is. Ta-da!
Go, front man, go.
Go.
And I was going to tell you, it was quite a struggle to come up with number 4 and number 5. A bunch of them getting edged out of that spot. Just one thing, I'm not going to name any honorable mentions. I'm going to say, I think over time, favorites or not, the greatest frontmen of all time came from hard rock or heavy metal bands. You had your classics, but I think frontmen on a whole just took on a whole new name unto itself if you were playing hard rock. But
Yeah.
anyways, at number 5 for me is a guy that we talked about just a few weeks ago. On stage acrobatics, the ability to pull them off are all pretty important things when it comes to being a frontman. And this guy was one of the best. His outfits, his scarves, his scream, unmistakable. He is the demon of screaming. Not as great as an American Idol judge, but one of the greatest ever from arguably the greatest American band ever, Aerosmith. He is Steven Victor Tallarico, better known as Steven Tyler, ladies and gentlemen. He is at number 5. And again, squeezed in there, but definitely had to get him
and
in
a
there.
strong performance on Wayne's World as well.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So next up, so to do some changing around here, once we determine, we're going to go with favorites. I think in my mind, most of the greatest that I have in here, favorites and greatest, like are pretty similar, I think, for the most part. Um, this next up is, well, he's not the greatest vocalist. Like when I think of vocalist, think of vocal beauty. It's a little different. If you're a front man, you got to have that vocal beauty. Plus, you got to have the stage presence, and then you got to have a little bit of Ray bias. But not the greatest vocalist of all time. But aside from number one and number two on my list, this guy had the biggest, most profound effect on my musical life as a teenager and beyond. Despite a poor ending to his run with this LA band, this guy, when you talk about stage theatrics, acrobatics, and sex appeal, not that he appealed to me in that way, but there were
And there's nothing wrong with that.
matched him. Few that
There's no
matched him
problem.
when it came to hard rock. In my book, he headlined the greatest hard rock band of all time, and he actually got replaced after the sixth album with the band, and his replacement was one of the greatest of all time himself. However, his wild stage antics and his energy were unparalleled for years. Ladies and gentlemen, David Lee Roth.
You do great. This is like, name that guy. You did a great lead up, and we could name the guy. It's awesome. Yep. I agree. Mark, is it you? How are you going to lead off?
So I looked
Ray?
at my 5, and I'm happy with my 5, but I certainly don't want to take somebody's. So I'm going to throw a curveball.
Oh my gosh.
All right, because my number 5 is definitely somebody else's, and definitely would be in my 5. But I want to throw this out there because there is this one man who is actually the front man, but you never really get to see him. He is the front man of ever-changing bands. He consistently makes cinematic music that is probably more well-known in the world than the Beatles. And this is John Williams, orchestrator, composer. I'll put him at number 5 because he is a front man, the greatest orchestras of all time, Star Wars, Jaws, all kinds of things that proceed. Even you could be people not even once they hear that theme, they know exactly what it is, who it is, what it is, even though they may not even have seen the movie. And, that's a front man in a different style of frame. I could pick some other ones, but I really love John Williams, and
I know you do.
Well,
and I think
Tommy Dorsey's coming back now.
Yes. So my number 4 is Freddie Mercury of Queen. Or no, I'm sorry, Mick Jagger.
No.
Sorry, Mick Jagger of the Rolling Stones. Number 4. Mick is the quintessential, hopping around that stage, that strut, that mannerisms. He could use an entire stage and pull the crowd in. When it comes to having such like familiar and oversung songs, he still manages to make it feel like it's the first time he sang it. Which, after so long, don't get me wrong, if you're going to see him now, I would probably say that's not the case. Singing is probably not happening at this point. It's more finishing, Even when the vocal isn't there, the rest of the leadership and the front man and showmanship is still there. It's the crowd enjoying it all, and it's nostalgic as hell. And you put on those records, every single one of them, it's immediately distinctive, everything. When he's singing those songs, and I would go just to hear, a couple of tracks because but I don't know. It's probably too big now, but
Did you ever see him in concert?
No, I never saw them. Never.
You never saw the Stones?
8 times.
Wow.
No.
Twice.
Those shows were just like, I'm like, okay, that's how much, and that's the I don't know. Just it's like this. I never saw Genesis. I never saw Phil Collins. I just the time. It's like born at the wrong time, right? I should have.
Yeah, that's true. We talked about the generational thing. Not that we're so ancient compared to you, but some of us.
Seeing John Anderson, they pulled that off, right?
Yeah.
If it was the original band members, I don't know.
Maybe not.
Been as good. I'm not sure. All right. Those are mine. Back
All right.
around to Dan for
To me?
3
All
and
right. Well, Mick Jagger, just to tail on to what you were saying, I did get to see the Stones in Cleveland last year.
Yeah, I was there.
You were there too?
I
I
was
think I
there.
saw you and I didn't know it was you.
It was a great night. Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. I'm not a Stones person, but I thought you got to go see the Stones once in your life if you love rock and roll. And but he's not on my list just because it's not my favorite, right? U2, that's not on my list, but it should be. That was one of the best concerts I ever saw, and it was at the stadium at Highmark Stadium, and Beck opened for them. That was awesome.
2017. Awesome show.
Yeah,
Oh, so that was the Joshua Tree 30th anniversary.
it was
Yep.
so good, and the
Oh.
beautiful night and everything. Freddie Mercury was way up there for me as well. So, but I never saw Freddie. So I'm gonna go with my number 3, Ray had already talked about, but I saw this band twice. This guy, I still think has a really great stage presence. I saw, I don't know if it was maybe 5 or 6 years ago on some streaming thing. He did a country type Nashville thing, and it's Steven Tyler.
Yeah.
And that's when I went, oh my God, he can do anything. And you will sit there and stare at him and not it. So that is a front man to me, right? Because there wasn't Joe Perry back there. It was a whole different band, but it was still Steven Tyler. So he's my number 3. And if he'd like to come over for dinner, I'll make him dinner. But my number 2, this guy, I saw him twice. Prince is
Oh.
an amazing performer.
Yeah, Bruce.
I just think that I saw him the first time Sheila E. was with him and then joined him on stage, and there's just nothing like Prince on stage. Mark, you were explaining it to me when I was driving today, and I go, I want to make sure I've got this scenario down right, what we're doing today. And you go, who is out there that you are looking at and you don't need to pay attention to anything else. Everything melds behind the person, and that's Prince. And he just, what a sad thing that he's not here anymore, because the talent, it was like just pouring out of him,
Yeah.
no matter
absolutely.
what he did. And I'm so blessed that I got to see him twice.
The lore, the stories, and the legend behind him almost equal he ever put out in music.
Yeah,
He was the most talented guy I ever worked with.
I would imagine.
Like hands down.
And should be mentioned amongst the greatest guitarists of all time, too.
Absolutely. Yeah. And probably the best Super Bowl halftime show ever.
Yeah,
I would agree with that.
Yes. Remember we did that one show, the Super Bowl halftime thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
The only guy who can make real rain come from the sky that isn't a prop, only while he sings Purple Rain.
I got the purple behind me just for him.
There you go.
Sue.
So that's my.
Good for you.
Oh, all right. Well, just about all the rest of my list has been taken. But so I'm gonna switch around a little bit. Like Bono, I was going with Bono, Freddie Mercury. I'm gonna give a shout out to Sting. Because again, he I know the Police was an early thing, but in my mind anyway, he could just stand on a stage and he commands presence. Even last year, I think it was last year, he appeared on The Voice, singing with Snoop Dogg. And
really,
he's just so incredibly talented. Well, actually, he played with several of the singers that season, but I don't know. Yeah, as I'm sitting here thinking about my favorites, though, I'm realizing a lot of them aren't like outlandishly out there and showman, because there's so many others that I would name, but they're not. Maybe they don't command huge audiences. But anyway, I'm gonna go Sting, and then I wanted to say Michael Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
Another one I really wish I gotten to see. And again, he's still like, if the dance recital season is now, his music is still played. People are still copying his dance moves. He's still inspiring vocalists and music, and yeah. So
Yeah, look at the weekend, right?
That's cool. I like that. Well, think about it. Jackson 5. Nobody
Well,
remember the Jackson 5 if there wasn't Michael Jackson.
that's right.
He was a
Tito, bring
frontman
me
when
a
he was
picture.
4.
Yep.
Is it Jeff Young next? Was that how I did this?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So,
Jeff.
am I next?
Yep, you're next.
So, what's funny is like a lot of these that I picked, it's funny when I was a kid, back when there was VHS tapes, like your exposure to the frontman wasn't just if you went to a show, you could go rent or you could go buy these videos of them and you'd see like they would have a concert on the tape, or they would show behind the scenes backstage stuff, like them at home, or just made up dumb shit that is just for humor. And so you're watching basic programs with them too. And some of it's real, some of it's not. So you're getting that type of exposure too. And I'm sure that has a lot to do with who I picked. But so the one I picked, I'm going to go with David Lee Roth, just because, of course, the jumps, the kicks, the martial arts style. I've seen him a couple times solo, actually 2 or 3 times solo, yeah. But, he, wielding swords and machetes on stage and martial arts style, bombastic, flamboyant, stuff for the girls and just outrageous. And he's humorous too. He's humorous on stage. He's humorous in interviews. And half the time he'll say a whole paragraph in an interview that you got to go back and listen to because you don't know what the hell he was talking about. But yeah, just fun, just like very 80s fun, And I'm also going to pick Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden because, he's
Bruce Dickinson, yes.
He's one that is like, obviously he's not a musician, but a performer he is, especially when it comes to the on-stage presence where he's actually interacting with different props from like flamethrowers to swords and cloaks and different, different outfits and, and then just belting out lyrics. And he has fun with the crowd and he looks out for the crowd too. I was at one time at a concert in Buffalo and he stopped the show and was trying to get people thrown out because they were just being too dangerous, and like they were bringing like these aerosol cans and shooting flames in the air, and it's like anyway, it's just I've seen like 3 or 4 times, just fun.
Yeah, I saw him with Judas Priest. There was a double bill. It was incredible.
Oh my God, that would be too intense for me.
2 of the greatest lead rockers. Right
and again,
there.
they have tons. They always they have lots of videos that I've seen as a kid or even as an adult where obviously Dickinson's a pilot. They play soccer when they're not playing their instruments and stuff, and just anyway, it's fun. They're just
fun.
They're just like fun guys,
Yeah.
All right, we're over to Jeff Crichton.
My number 3. Nobody could twirl a microphone like this guy. Nobody. I've seen the band numerous times, got to work with the band that I have stories on, but I won't say here. But
Come on.
A bunch of farewell
he
tours.
was such a great singer. He sang all the great songs that his guitar partner wrote, and we're talking about the guy that sang
Oh no.
Generation.
Oh, God.
Generation.
Help me
Yeah.
now.
No.
People try to put us
Equipment down.
Yeah,
Just because
something about Teenage Wasteland.
Yep. So Roger Daltrey is my number 3. Just
Okay.
a great
Huge.
pure singer, even though he's pissed me off lately.
Yeah, I saw him a few
Why?
years ago as he was obviously older now, but he still sounded good. I'm sure he wasn't as, like all singers. They're not the same age when they're 25.
No.
They lead the league in farewell tours.
Yes.
Yeah, they
Going
do.
on
The
for
real
43
farewell
years.
tour for me was 82.
The real one.
The real one. And they should have stopped after that. My number 2 is the guy that made the Zeppelin soar. And nobody sounded like Robert Plant. And when all of their albums are special. And he and Jimmy were a great songwriting team, but without Plant, they would, who knows where they would have been. But he made the Zeppelin soar. And you look at his solo stuff, and he's stayed true to the art. And the Shapeshifters band might almost, for me, be equal to what Zeppelin was. And he did those 2 beautiful albums with oh gosh, what's her name?
Alison Krauss.
Alison Krauss, beautiful records. And so Robert's my number 2.
Okay. Good
Oh, I
choice.
love you.
Excellent
I love
choice.
you. I love you.
Alex Kaluzny.
So
No, I'm sorry. Is it no, right? Yeah. Yeah, you. Yeah, that's right.
Alex, right?
Should I start
Alex.
at number 5?
What?
Should I
What?
start
No.
at number 5? I didn't go
You
in the
skipped
first
over
round.
Alex. Yeah.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
No, he said the headstones.
No,
That was me.
That was Jeff.
No.
Oh,
You
got
skipped
4 of them.
Alex.
I wanted to see
Okay,
how
you
long
gotta
it
do.
took for anyone to notice.
Really?
I just assumed
Well,
maybe.
I thought we did skip it, but oh well.
Okay,
Yeah,
5,
I
4,
thought
3,
he
2.
was talking about. Yeah.
No, he just. Oh
Well,
my
Alex,
God, we're
it's
so
dark.
we
We
love
can't
you.
even see you.
We love you. We love
All
you.
right, so
Just
we're
skip
doing
it.
5,
3,
4, and
2.
3, and 2, I guess. Wow.
Let's go. All
I was
eyes
gonna
are
see
on
how
you,
long that
buddy.
went.
Oh,
Hold on, I'm adding more light since I've got complaints from.
Oh,
the
wait. You had extra time to plan this, and now you're not ready.
exactly. This is why you're out.
I was hiding in the dark.
What a diva
Walking
front
around
man
to
you are.
get sexy again.
I feel so bad.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna cheat because if you're not cheating, you're not trying. And I'm gonna go with a little bit of a pop rock flair and a tie for number 5 for me because I don't have much to say about one. But when you think
Five Finger
Midwest,
Death
you think
Punch.
Chad Kroger, and
Okay.
I cannot think of a better frontman you think of the band, you can't think of a logo, you can't think of anything. You see those damn blonde curls every time you think of them. And it just seems to be maybe more my era. The end of the music video years where you could really kind of remember him. And he is tied with who I call the modern day version of Elvis, essentially. And that's Brandon Flowers of the Killers.
Okay.
Oh, I love that.
Is one of the reasons.
C-Mac.
And I mean, watching him, I can't wait to go see him at CMAC late summer.
Yeah, I want to go too.
And
That would be fun.
yeah, it's about time. It's a little overdue to see them.
Okay, cool.
There's my tie for 5 because I had to make room for number 4 to get in there. It took seeing him live for me to kind of remember why he's on this list for me. It's Dave Draymond of Disturbed.
Oh.
The presence, the aura he commands on stage. I knew this was probably lesser of a genre that was going to get tapped into.
Yeah.
On this particular show, but for frontmen, there's very few you can name outside of just the band itself. And he's one that superseded that, especially with some of the work he's done with his covers with the band. So I got to put Dave Draymond at number 4.
You're 3 and 2 since I
You got to do 3 and 2 now. You got to catch up to us because you're slow.
Had to remember that I had more extra to this. Number 3, the king of true power himself, Jeff Martin. Because when he's on stage, you do not take your eyes off of him. You can try to watch Stuart and Jeff do their thing in the back. You can't. It's about Jeff Martin at the end.
I knew you were going to pick this. I knew this about you for sure.
That was
I like
a predictable one. But my number 2, you probably did not see me picking, and this is the one that I think Jeff Young thought I was going to match him with.
Oh,
Chris Cornell.
oh, he was on my
I
list,
thought you were going
man.
to
Good
pick
choice.
one.
Good choice.
Doesn't matter what band he performs with or if it's his solo work. He's one of a kind.
He is.
He's got a distinguishable voice, and it really
It's
doesn't
not
matter
just
what
his
the stage
voice, it's
presence
the
is.
way he is with, he's captivating. I mean, you can have a great voice, but you
Yeah.
notice him.
And
You notice him.
And I'm saying this without any knowledge of his stage presence or what he was like live from a entertainment standpoint.
Mhm.
But vocally, he's as one of a kind, unique as it gets, and he has the look and the aura to him.
Yep.
So I got to go Cornell number 2.
Ray, I think you're next.
All right, all
Oh,
right,
yeah.
all right.
Woo!
Here
We need a
go.
crowd going.
Don't make me
All right,
add
so
sound effects.
number
No,
three,
we just
we
need
talked about-
smoke
make
to appear
anyway.
from beneath him.
So number 3, we kind of touched on the point in the last with David Lee Roth. Like, there's others on the list that definitely have better pure vocals, but
Yeah.
very few are better showmen and thus frontmen for rock and roll bands. And the
Yep.
thing is, if you're doing such a list throughout much of the United States, this guy, despite his greatness, would not likely even be mentioned, unfortunately. That's a really sad thing to say, but one of the great things about living near
Yep.
Buffalo or in a border city is that we're able to have access to great Canadian music, and great does not do justice for the band nor the front man here. He became known for his showmanship during live performances, incorporating spoken word rants along with his zany gestures and movements, and definitely
Absolutely.
took his cue from Jagger as well as David Byrne, probably a little bit of Bowie, some Bono, some Michael Stipe in him. He's Canada's finest export next to Molson. He is the Tragically Hip's Gordon Downey. Mic drop.
Yeah.
Drop.
Oh yeah.
Can't argue
right.
that.
You're
There's
number
nobody
two?
on this panel that would argue that, I don't think.
So good. So
Yeah.
good. Miss them so much. Saw them 10 times and still get out and see the Strictly Hip where I can. They do a really nice tribute to him.
They
But
do.
anyways,
They
on
do
to
good
number
quality, especially the
2.
vocals.
Number 2, huh? Holy cow. So,
Throw a
I was
dart.
gonna use that one guy that got mentioned until I was told it was a favorite list, and the one guy that just got mentioned earlier was 97 rock and rolled to death over the last 50 years, so he didn't make the
I'm
list.
sure he'll be
So-
heard from again.
Oh, I'm sure he will be. I'm sure he's coming up on number 1 for 1 or 2 people. But anyways, my number 2, next to JFK and Elvis and maybe Abraham Lincoln, there's been
Wow.
no bigger legend in death. His legend grows by the year, and he's been gone for over 50 years. Not a masterfully trained vocalist by any means. This guy was amongst the most influential frontmen of all time. His charismatic persona, his unpredictable performances, along with a distinctive voice and poetic lyrics, made him one of a kind. Another one with the same last name once named him being really raw and that he knew what he was doing and could do it very well. The guy that said that was Van Morrison. He was talking about the Lizard King, James Douglas Morrison.
I know everybody's middle name. I'm a little worried about you.
You know, I had that as my number 5 before Bowie replaced him. And Brother Ray, the notes I had on here was the poet, the singer,
Mhm.
the troubled artist.
Mhm.
He was waiting for the sun until the end. He was a wild child riding the storm of fame, and he lit the fire of this band.
Oh, just so
There's
good.
there's a wonderful documentary, or not documentary. Rick Beato just interviewed the 2 remaining members.
Oh, really?
Good, yeah, about last week.
And
Cool.
Morrison was high on my list too, and I think the only thing that kind of pushed him back for me is I thought that band was so tight that it didn't. He does
Yeah.
exuberate frontman
I
entirely.
agree.
That's not the discredit, but Manzarek, Krieger, Densmore, like it.
Yeah.
They're just as much known as a group as it's not just Morrison's iconic face.
But I think that's what drew people to the band, and that's what a frontman is.
Absolutely.
I don't think
did.
I would have
sure.
listened to Krieger or any of those if I didn't have Jim's lovely face and
Right, 'cause
chest
you
and
saw what
and
happened once.
swagging thing, right?
But
Like
that's how
that's
I
what a
Morrison died,
frontman
and
That's
then
how
they
I
put out
is.
another
split the
album
hairs
and
to
never
leave
did
them off
anything.
of the
Yeah,
last.
the other album did nothing.
They
But
put out
horrible.
two. They actually put
They
out
actually put
two
out two.
albums.
Mhm.
They put out 2 albums after he died, and they weren't good.
No.
If they were instrumentals, it could have been great, but they tried to sing.
Well,
and it just
The
killed it.
second one has a predominant instrumentalism to it, but
But I will say, in splitting hairs, that's where I had to leave him off of my top 5.
well, I can
I
see how
kinda
people
did
could
too.
say I love the Doors, I love Jim. Yeah, well, since Ray's done with his, I'll give you my number 3. It's the man reincarnated as, and that's Jeff Martin.
Yeah, it's reincarnated.
There
I
you
remember
If
that.
you put Jeff Martin
Mhm.
up there on stage,
Yep.
exuding cool. Again, I say this a lot. He mows his lawn. He looks cool mowing his lawn. He has that presence on stage. Like Alex said, no one else is looking anywhere else. And the man can play guitar probably as good as those that are in the greatest call too.
Oh yeah.
How
so
many times have you seen him, Mark?
3 or 4,
Okay.
maybe 5. Go ahead, Jeff.
Okay. My number 4. And I
3.
might get some 3.
Yeah.
I might
Number
get some
3.
disagreement with the audience, but I've seen him 13 times, I think,
Oh, wow.
and he blows me away every time. It's Willie Nelson.
Oh yeah.
I still think he's the number one, one of the best to ever play. Period. And I love all the songs, and I love him. Number 2, Mark and me have this ongoing argument. He says he's a piece of and I think he's probably one of the best ever to hit the stage. It's Meatloaf.
Oh, Meatloaf.
Who's that?
That is
Meatloaf.
Mr. Loaf.
Yep.
Mr. The Loaf.
Meatball.
One of my least favorite dinners of all time.
Oh, you haven't had it the right way then.
Yeah.
You know what,
Hanging out
Jeff?
loud.
Meatloaf, he was on my honorable mentions, yes. But I think he had a very short window.
He did what? 11 albums?
Oh yeah, we did the greatest.
Yeah, we
the
did.
catalog review show, and going through that, he as a stage performer, right? Just
Mhm.
he had no fear. He had no, he was out there.
Operatic almost, right?
He was.
Looked like he was gonna die every time he played. This guy's sweating. He's even waving a white flag to say it's done. It's over. I can't do it.
I ate too much meatloaf.
But he
yeah,
got up on the stage time after time after time again.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
saw
Great
him.
voice. Great voice.
I saw
Great
him
pick.
about 14 times. So he was really good.
Very theatrical for sure.
Yes.
All right, so I already gave my 3. My number 2. You may not know this, but I believe James Brown is like.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
James Brown.
I
Yes.
cannot. I when I'm making this list, I'm just thinking about the albums, not so much, but just the live performances.
Yep.
On TV, in the
Mhm.
studios, and then even when he's in a movie. It looked like he was gonna bust his kneecap or something. He's dropping down, and he's at that point he had to be like 60 something. I do that kind of split, and I'm in the hospital for a week and a half.
If you
I
see,
love that choice.
if you see footage of him when he was, when it was James Brown and the Flames.
Yeah, the Flames, right? Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Without him, there's no Michael. There's no Prince. There's no.
Yeah, that's kind of
He
the
paved the way.
Yes, exactly. And that's a good point because I'm not thinking that longevity and who they influenced. It was just my favorite, right? But James Brown, for sure, he kind of saved Woodstock 99 till it burned down. But anyway, you know, he still was doing it then, and you can't deny it.
No,
Can't
I
deny
couldn't. I'm just sitting there going, I love watching those things. Do I have a lot of the albums? No, I've got like a smattering here and there. I only think 2 of them are probably greatest hits or something like that. But my God,
Get his box
Come
set.
on, have
Get the
I
box
think
set.
Good
yeah.
time.
He's on some good Rocky soundtracks too.
Yeah,
Is
But
he?
his box set is outstanding.
Living in America.
Yeah, yeah.
Rocky Ford.
I wanna
The
live.
best.
I feel good. Do.
and
Rub-a-dub
I
hot
think
tub.
that's where I started was that song, and it wasn't from one of his albums. That was from Good Morning Vietnam.
Oh yeah, it was.
And it wasn't even him saying it. Well, it was him singing it, but it was Robin
Yeah.
Williams' face. So yeah,
It was
okay.
Robin
Enough
Williams'
about that.
face.
All right,
Okay.
moving on. Let's see if I can get
You
the
don't
order
even
right
need-
this time. All right, damn.
You don't even need to ask me.
I
My
got
number one, Robert Plant.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Anything?
Look it up.
Look
Number
it up.
1.
There you go.
Number 1.5.
Look it up.
Look it up.
All right, moving on then. Sue.
Okay, so first of all, I just have to say really quickly, Willie Nelson's son, I think is Luke,
Yeah.
is very,
Yeah.
very, very good looking.
Oh, really? How old is he? My
I don't
age?
know. I don't know.
Will is
30?
80?
Is he
Look it
30?
up.
92. 92.
Willie's son
Um,
is 92. Holy cow.
Oh, Willie's 92.
Wait, no.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh yeah, we know that.
Yeah,
Well, Willie comes from the era that's considered Paleozoic.
I'm not gonna guess.
hell he is so.
So, okay, so again, everybody I was thinking of has kind of been called out already, and Robert Plant and Freddie Mercury were high up there on my list. And I found out, I don't know, maybe you guys already know, but there was an interview with Freddie Mercury way back in the day in the 70s where he actually said that Robert Plant was his favorite singer. So, connection.
Okay.
But since they were all
Love
thinking, I'm just gonna throw this guy out because he was my rock husband before there was a grohl.
No.
And it would be Rob Zombie.
Yeah.
Yes.
He is so scary.
Good one. Good one.
So
This is
scary,
good. This is good.
so talented, and I got to see him a few times, including Mark. What was the band that he came to? Incognito.
They were
Meet the Creeper.
Meet the Creeper.
Yes.
He is like a super showman and multi-talented, and yeah, I don't see how you can't like him, but I don't
love
like his like Texas Chainsaw Massacre type movies, but that's okay.
But that's a
love it all.
great pick because it's sticking to what we're talking about, right? Like this, I would be surprised if you said my number one was Freddie or Robert Plant. I'm not surprised by Rob Zombie at all, that's your
Well,
favorite.
And
I love that.
my other non-rock, but it would have been like Bruce Hornsby, but I can't say that he like captivates mass audiences. He's
Right.
incredibly talented, but
It captivated you.
he captivated me. That's it. So Rob Zombie.
Great. Rob Zombie. Love
Jeff Young.
Well,
it. Uh-oh.
in the interest of picking somebody that hasn't been mentioned, I'm gonna go with Ozzy Osbourne,
The Osman.
Yeah,
frontman for himself and for
absolutely.
Sabbath. And he's probably the only frontman, maybe even the only performer I've ever seen at a concert who demands the audience gives him what he's giving to the audience. He literally will stand there and say, "Come on!" Like he just really wants you to participate, participate to your fullest, and it does make for a better show. So I've seen him about 3 or 4 times. So
Great choice.
pretty awesome.
Yeah, when you can prop a man
That's
up
great.
on stage and still get the crowd to go, that's a
Absolutely.
front man. They could put his corpse up there, and
It's a reality show that people.
They would, yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, probably the first frontman to have his own TV show, right?
Yeah,
Aside
and
from like,
really entertaining.
aside from the monkeys, like.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, and actually, we'll get to that on my honorable
Oh
mentions.
boy, Jeff Crichton.
Well, my number one has to be the guy that's been doing it for over 60 years. He's
Okay.
the head of the lead singers, the head of the frontmen. He James Brown's another guy he learned from probably.
Maybe.
Okay. Yeah.
So give me Mick.
Maybe even
Give me Mick.
maybe even a little bit Richard.
Just that hands behind the back with the fingers out and the, how, damn.
Strut.
When I do that on the dance floor, Sue's like, get the hell off the floor.
You've
But-
never done that before. You should.
If you even attempt it, I'm checking you for sobriety.
Yeah.
It's a great number.
That's
You got to
fine.
have rhythm, dude, to do that.
Yes.
That's true. We don't have that.
Ray.
Did you see that, everybody?
All right, what do we got? Oh, he's got it.
Oh,
Come on.
here we go. Here we
Come
go.
on now. What can I tell you? Very little introduction needed. Simply the template that all rock and roll lead singers and frontmen are measured against. What more can you say about the greatest frontman from the world's greatest rock and roll band, Sir Michael Philip Jagger? Not sure what more can be said. The greatest.
It's just obvious.
There he is. Ta-da.
I guess.
Okay.
Alex.
Okay. I respectfully acknowledge your pick. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Mick and Plant, they're in their own league.
Who's
Alex,
next?
you're number one.
But speaking of Ray, he already said mine, and in his infamous words, Gord Downey, mic drop.
Nice.
Yep.
Gord's
That-
number one.
I'm kind of embarrassed that he wasn't on my list because I adore him, and he certainly should have beaten Axl Rose on my list. But I know we're not I know these points don't go somewhere else.
Oh,
Like the
I'm
other
keeping this
show-
in my mind
Stretch
for later.
didn't
Like,
turn any. We're associating this with you, right? To
Okay,
the-
there was only 4 wrong answers tonight. You
Yes.
weren't one of
obviously I've got
Be
the number one.
them.
Chef Jeff, you're number one. Grateful dude.
Well, my number one was
Can't even imagine.
has been spoken many times tonight. So I'm going to come up with an alternative. I saw the guy in concert and it changed my mind about him. Matter of fact, you were there, Mark, and you were there, Sue, with me.
It was on
And,
my list as well.
and he put on an incredible show.
Mm-hmm.
Rod
That's true.
Stewart.
Rod
Really?
Rod Stewart. He
Rod
put on
Stewart.
an incredible show. And on that point,
Yeah.
that the showman that we're all been talking about so
Mhm.
ecstatically
Yes, you
tonight,
did.
we're always seen best live. If you ever seen him live, can you say you saw their best?
Yeah, it doesn't change.
Okay.
It's hard.
He
It's
was
hard
on
to
the
do.
American Music Awards the other night. Actually, looked great, and he sounded pretty good too.
Oh,
You know-
really?
Yeah,
You
he
know
was.
Got like a lifetime award or whatever they call it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but he was very good, and I'm sticking to it. Number one.
I just say I always wonder about certain artists that I never got to see. Like
Yeah.
I heard Neil Diamond was amazing, but I never saw him.
Yeah,
No,
and I
another
saw him
guy.
a couple of times.
Yeah.
He's on the
So
little
true.
mention.
Jeff Crichton, you were.
Did you see Rod by himself or with the Faces?
No, by himself.
Okay.
Yeah, it was at Vegas at the Coliseum. No, what's it called? Where were we at?
Oh, I
Was he
remember
ca-
you guys went out
Caesars.
to
It was at
Vegas. Was that
Caesars.
for a restaurant show?
We were at Caesars.
Was that
No, we
one
were
of
at
your-
Caesars. No, it was his wedding.
Yeah, his wedding.
Was he
Oh.
still kicking
Why
the
was
soccer
he-
balls into the
Oh
crowd?
yeah, and you know
Yes,
what?
he did.
Into the upper deck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Mhm.
some old
Love
lady
it.
had to be removed. Her teeth everywhere. It was sad. Sad.
Stop.
Awesome. Penny.
Actually, Rod and Plant played soccer either together or against each other.
Oh, that's a cool
That's
thing.
a cool little thing.
I'd play soccer with them too.
I'm
Yeah. So we got a ball.
I haven't missed anybody, right? It's me.
I think everybody. Has
Everybody's
everybody
checking.
done their number one?
All right.
Yeah.
Sue, what's my number one?
Oh my gosh.
Alex, what's my number one? Ray, what's my number one? Deb, what's my number one? Gordon Downey, the Tragically Hip.
Okay,
Nice.
There is nothing more that needs to be said for me.
it's true.
It will always, and I literally writ them off after Trouble at the Hen House when we went to see that show.
You didn't write him off though.
That's ahead by a century. He's sitting there playing guitar, and I'm going, this sucks.
Oh, and they
Why
do
is he
that on the
playing guitar?
documentary.
That
You
was the album
said,
that
even
changed
on the
it.
documentary.
Changed
Yeah,
And
you
that's the
said
album that, yeah. But I
Yeah.
I didn't know what was going on in the band, but I had the
Yes.
same feeling that Gord Sinclair had. This sucks.
yeah.
But obviously, it morphed
There
into,
was some-
and I found my
Yes.
place in the whole thing. But if
Right.
I was there at the beginning, almost,
Yeah.
pretty much,
Great
and
pick.
it was love at first here, and then go see them, and to be front row, and to probably.
And Mark, I'm going to tell you something that I can't believe I'm saying, but I would put him above Robert Plant.
Oh.
Really?
Wow.
I
Wow.
would.
Okay.
I
The show is
I-
finished. Jump the shark.
no, I would, because my appreciation for how that band changed things, where maybe Zeppelin did, but I think that for sure, Frontmen, Tragically Hip. Sorry if any of these guys from Canada are watching our show. Those guys would not be anywhere without Gord Downey,
Mm.
but Jimmy Page didn't need to be a great guitarist because of Robert Plant. He
No,
would have
Page-
just
Page
gone
already
on
He was
had-
to
great before Robert.
Page
Oh,
was writing his own ticket.
No, exactly. So I think that they both have their own place, but I think that Gord Downey for Tragically Hip in Canada and North America. Yeah, I have to agree with you guys. Whoever picked him on your list, I'm kind of embarrassed that he wasn't on my list.
I have the actions, the soliloquies, the improv, the way he could get lost in a song but still come back to the crowd. His engagement to a nation on the stage was incredible, even off the stage. The charisma, the respect for what he was doing. It was as if he was experiencing the concert along with you. A song guide,
Yeah.
a songwriter, a Sherpa. And so, he even says that in that album. His connectedness was just brilliant. It could be overstated, it could be subdued, but he was always delivering, always. Even when he sort of leaned back from that, and because he thought he was a clown, and he played the
Yeah.
guitar, right? I
Yep.
love those early years. I miss those early years,
Yeah, me
but I
too.
still took great pleasure in seeing them later after I kind of got unangry. And it's a sad thing.
Unangry.
But we still that's a lot of albums, and those guys, I think, I don't know where he would be. You have to come to terms, right? Jim Morrison, without those guys, where is he? Right? How do those songs come together? Because Morrison didn't write music, they played that, and he came up with what he came up with, right? So, so that's okay. Anyway, I'm babbling on. Honorable mentions. Give me a couple, and we'll go with Dan.
Davy Jones,
Oh, Davy Jones.
the Monkees. I'm telling you, in 1966 or whatever, that's what kids were exposed to before the.
Kids were exposed. What?
But they
Yeah.
could not
Not to
play.
Davy.
They really missed an opportunity naming the band Davy Jones and his Lockers.
Yes. Sue.
I kind of wove all mine in already, but
Okay.
I did not mention Gord either, and I should have. So
We're just
But
here
I-
for public shaming, Mark and I, at this point.
I just want to say those are,
Blogging.
I think, and yes, he was a standout musician and singer, but especially after watching a lot of the documentaries, that band, like, they really fed into each other. I don't know that he could have done what he did without his friends, because they really were that close. But yeah, wish he was still here too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Solo wise, not the same impression. Needed to be around certain people, even with when he did the stuff with the Sadies, and the stuff in Grand Bounce. That need the musicians, need those kind of people.
That's okay. Sometimes people feed off of, right?
Yeah. Jeff Young. That's why I want you guys on the shows, because me by
There
myself.
we go.
I don't mind mentioning Scott Wieland.
Oh
yeah. He was on my list too.
Megaphone extraordinairist.
Yeah.
And you know what? With the help of drugs, he could see right through the crowd.
He could. He did. He really did.
Another multi-band performer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anything else, Jeff? Nope.
I'm good.
Mr. Crichton.
Oh boy. I'll just
Oh no. Go. Come on. We're here. Give it to me, baby.
I don't want to make this show longer than it already has been.
Just put the link at the bottom.
Yeah, there'll be a link. There's a link in the description to his next show.
Yeah, I'll put, because I had Morrison originally on my list, so he's an honorable mention.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with everybody what they said about Gord Downey. He from for me the greatest Canadian band ever.
Yeah.
Wait, better than Arcade Fire?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. All right. We got it. That was another show. But go ahead.
I'd put Michael Stipe in there.
Yeah.
I would put I never thought I'd mention this guy, but now that he's not with us any longer, but and because I got to work with him as Chester Bennington, was pretty special. So
that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
hard to disagree with that one. I thought about that too.
Jeff, we just live in our little house on this camera. You actually really live things, so we're not going to disagree with you.
Yeah, it's sacrilege.
No, we could never do that.
And speaking of disagreeing with
Yes,
Jeff,
let's go to Ray.
I got a few I'll ramble off for you here. Like I said, when it comes to heavy metal and hard rock, those were the Frontmen. So I got Rob Halford, I got Ozzy, I got Dio, I got Bon Scott, and I'm also going to throw in for just for added measurement, throwing Paul Rogers from Bad Company, the greatest living rock singer.
Mm-hmm.
Another Canadian I'm going to add, Burton Cummings from the Guess Who, and how about Lane Staley?
Who's that?
Alice in Chains.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Alice in Chains, but this is a genre of I don't know the artist.
I was so far back. I don't know what that. Yeah, but
definitely. And I guess I gotta add Jimmy Page's singer too, since I didn't have him on the main list. What's his name? Robert Flower or something like that.
Oh yeah, whatever, Ray.
Yeah,
bye bye.
Ray.
Bye bye.
Trying to start a riot.
Bobby Cactus.
Alex.
I like Bobby Cactus as his nickname.
Cactus.
Yeah, there you
go. Let's go
on Mexico.
That haven't been said tonight in any way from my list. I was gonna throw Corey Taylor on there. Thought about that one for a hot second.
Okay.
A little bit of Sully Erna. He was a great live show in Frontman when I got to see him, and really exuberated that. On the lesser end, really enjoyed Daughtry and seeing him as a frontman. He had a little bit of that where it's there. I'm not saying it's
attitude, good attitude.
Yeah, it sits in something that I enjoyed from that. James Hetfield of Metallica, Lemmy from Motorhead.
Yeah.
Anytime you can
yes,
by just your first name and everyone knows who you are.
And you're not
qualified instantly. Kurt Cobain obviously sits in that in a way, and then kind of another underrated surprise one that I found myself putting on this list. If he could have ever just stayed out of prison more than 3 times a year, I would have given Wes Scantlin from Puddle of Mud.
Puddle of Mud.
New album.
Grateful Dude. Any honorables?
Oh yeah. Let's start off with a couple that you probably have definitely have heard of, but you've washed them under the rug. First one is Elvis Presley.
Yep.
He was one of the original frontmen before anybody. He
It's
started
true.
the trend.
Mhm.
He started the trend.
It's true. You're right.
Well, if it comes back to you.
Did anyone say Johnny Cash?
That's what I was thinking.
He was on my yes. Well, I didn't say it, but he's on my list because I love him. But I thought that people would think I'm a dork. But yeah,
Another guy I forgot was Eddie Vedder.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
he was
How about-
to me. Eddie was kind of like a Jim Morrison guy, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
How about
Sexy.
Keith Ralph from the Yardbirds?
Yep.
How about
I
Mark
don't-
Lindsay? Mark Lindsay from Paul Revere and the Raiders. Come on.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
Paul Revere,
That
the
was who I
Raiders.
was trying to remember.
Oh, that's okay.
No.
Eric Burden.
And the
Yes,
animal.
from the Animal. Yeah.
Van Morrison too.
Yep.
There's just something about some people that they can stand there, right, and deliver and not really shift or move, and
Tom
that's kind of
Petty.
interesting to me, like Morrison and the other Morrison, and
But then
The other Morrison after the Morrison.
I was trying desperately to find someone who didn't sing,
what do you mean?
who was leading the band.
Yeah, you said I don't know. Did
All
you
right.
find anybody? Because
Derek
this is weird.
Trucks.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sometimes the leader is the leader, and the front man who is definitely he shares the stage with performers. Obviously, blues legend wife.
Jay
But-
Giles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So there's those things where that he is the maestro leading everyone around, and that's a cop out. But anyway, Michael Hutchins of In Excess, who knows what would have
Yeah.
been.
Yeah.
I know.
Someone said Jimi Hendrix.
I always
You know, surprised nobody's mentioned Bruce
Springsteen. Yeah,
I thought
that was
about
my
that.
next honorable mention was Bruce, and my final one is David Coverdale. That just
Mostly
lose
70,000.
Jeff Crichton.
Yeah, he's signing off.
All right. Well, I was gonna ask him why Peter Gabriel wasn't on his list.
Ooh.
Good job, people.
Yes, thank you all.
Good
So,
job.
what were your front men? I want to know. We want to know. Is Jeff Young a star? Is Alex really as sexy as he walks? Please be a demigod and like and comment. I definitely will comment back. And if you haven't subscribed yet, you have to now, don't you? I mean, you've been with us an hour and a half. We're on the web at beyondyourradio.com, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, of course, because we couldn't do without that. Articles, videos, podcasts somewhere down the line if I ever get well again. Go Beyond Your Radio with us, a real music appreciation channel. Check out this Saturday. Oh, my God. We're going to tackle Sleep Token again. That's right. And a double country album.
No, it's okay.
Oh,
We
no.
will live. We will live. We will live.
Thank you for
I may
watching.
have to join you just to watch
Happy
my
listening.
sperm.